In this book, Madiha Afzal says that the Pakistan Taliban did not suddenly emerge in 2007. Instead, she traces its roots back to two major events: the Afghan Jihad of the 1980s and the US invasion of Afghanistan after 9/11. Her central argument is that policies and militant networks created during these periods eventually produced a group that turned its violence inward against Pakistan itself. What I found most interesting in the is that she emphasis on continuity. She shows how figures such as Sufi Muhammad moved from the Afghan Jihad to creating movements inside Pakistan that sought to impose Sharia. According to Madiha Afzal, these groups gained support by presenting themselves as a defender of Islam against foreign occupation and against a Pakistani state allied with the US. The chapter and particularly the book also highlights the state's failure to recognize the growing threat rather than treating these militants as dangerous enemies. Even most officials, they often described them as brothers or even patriotic citizens. She says that the year of the using jihadist groups for strategic purposes in Afghanistan and Kashmir made it difficult for the state to see that some of these the same groups that had become a threat to Pakistan itself. And another powerful example is the Lal Masjid crisis of 2007. The author presents it, as a turning point that exposed both the state's weakness and its inability to control the narrative. Although the government eventually acted against the masjid, the operation generated sympathy for the militants and in some circle and helped strengthen, the extremist narratives. So afterwards, the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan formally emerged, um, and terrorist violence, that increased dramatically. She is particularly critical of the repeated peace deals with deals that made with the militant groups. She says that these agreements gave militant legitimacy, allowed them to regroup and send the message that the state was willing to accommodate extremist demands. The 2009 Sawat agreement, which introduced Sharia in an is that was an effort to end violence, is presented as an example of a state trying to manage militancy rather than confront it directly. One of the strongest aspects of this book is that the way it connects state policy with public perception. Here, the writer suggests that